Welcome back to my channel, Pocket Change Coins. If you're excited about finding hidden gems in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we're going to uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that's easily overlooked but holds a world of value for those who know what to look for, the 1967 United States 1-dime coin. This little 10-cent piece might be hiding in your collection, in your drawer, or even jingling around in your pocket. But what makes it so special? What secrets does it hold? And how can a coin this small be worth an absolute fortune? Let's find out. To truly understand the significance of the 1967 dime, we need to step back into the 1960s, a decade of revolution, innovation, and transformation in America. The Vietnam War was intensifying, the civil rights movement was making powerful waves across the country, and the United States was locked in a fierce space race with the Soviet Union. Amidst all this historical turbulence, the U.S. Mint was quietly making a major change, one that would impact the design and value of American coins for generations. You see, by 1965, the U.S. Mint had stopped using silver in most of its coins due to rising metal prices. Prior to that, dimes, quarters, and half dollars contained 90% silver. But starting in 1965, the mint transitioned to a clad composition, copper sandwiched between two layers of nickel, to reduce production costs. This change meant that post-1964 coins were no longer made of precious metal, which in turn affected their value and collectability. Now, enter the 1967 Roosevelt dime. Named after President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose portrait appears on the obverse, this dime was part of a new era of American coinage. The obverse shows Roosevelt facing left, with the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1967. It's a simple yet dignified design that has stood the test of time since it was first introduced in 1946. Turn the coin over, and you'll find a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Around the edge, you'll see the phrases, United States of America, and 1 dime. Elegant, clean, and meaningful, but here's where things get really interesting. The 1967 dime was part of a short period in U.S. history when the mint did not include mint marks on coins. That's right. Due to rampant coin hoarding in the mid-1960s, the mint decided to remove mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967. So, even though these dimes were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, you won't see a P, D, or S on any of them. This alone makes the 1967 dime part of a very specific and unique chapter in coin collecting history. But beyond its no mint mark mystery, the 1967 dime is especially prized for a few extremely rare versions, dimes that were struck in error or with unusual conditions. These include coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, and even a few that may have been mistakenly struck on silver planchets left over from earlier years. Imagine the surprise of finding a dime that weighs slightly more or has a different tone, only to realize it may contain silver or have an error worth thousands. Collectors love 1967 dimes with high grades. Coins graded MS 67 or higher, which means they are in mint state, with nearly perfect surfaces, sharp detail, and original luster, are extremely rare. And it's this combination of rarity, condition, and historical context that turns a 10-cent coin into something extraordinary. Let's not forget, the vast majority of 1967 dimes were heavily circulated. They were used by millions of Americans for decades, passed through countless hands, and exposed to wear, corrosion, and damage. That's why finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a time capsule, a little piece of 1967 frozen in time. So, if you're lucky enough to come across a flawless 1967 Roosevelt dime, especially one with unusual features, rare strike errors, or in a high mint state, you could be holding a tiny treasure with a massive price tag. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. A perfectly preserved 1967 United States 1-dime coin, especially one with a rare mint error and graded. At the highest levels, could be worth as much as $200,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 10 cents when it was minted can now fetch $200,000 in today's collector market. So, check your coin jars. Dig through your old piggy banks. That little dime from decades ago might just be your golden ticket. Second rare coin, we're going back more than a century, to the year 1894, to uncover the story of one of the most mysterious and legendary coins in American history, the 1894 United States one-dime coin. Now, when most people think of a dime, they picture a small silver-colored coin, often forgotten in drawers, car consoles, or laundry room counters. But this particular dime, the 1894 edition, is not just any small change. It's a piece of American numismatic legend. And believe me, this is one of those coins that doesn't just belong in a collection, it belongs in a museum. So let's take a closer look at what makes this little coin so incredibly valuable and fascinating. The 1894 dime was part of the Barber dime series, which ran from 1892 to 1916. Named after its designer, Charles E. Barber, this coin featured Lady Liberty wearing a Phrygian cap and a laurel wreath on the obverse. The reverse side displayed a simple but elegant design, the denomination, 1 dime, encircled by a wreath of American agricultural crops like corn, wheat, maple, and oak. Clean, classical, and quintessentially American, but here's where things take a surprising and mysterious turn. In 1894, only 24 dimes were minted at the San Francisco Mint, yes, only 24. And there's no clear consensus as to why. One theory suggests they were created as special presentation pieces or gifts for bankers and dignitaries. Another says they were minted to balance the books, a result of a clerical error that needed to be corrected in silver coinage. A third theory whispers tales of them being struck to make up for an accounting shortfall of just a few dollars. Whatever the reason may be, the result is that the 1894 dime became one of the rarest and most coveted coins in American history. Of those 24 coins, only a handful are known to exist today. Some experts say just 9 can be accounted for. The rest? Lost to time, melted down, spent by mistake, or tucked away in hidden family safes, waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to stumble across them. There's a famous story of a little girl whose father, a banker, gave her 2 of the 1894 dimes. She spent one on ice cream and saved the other. Imagine that, a scoop of ice cream that cost her a fortune. What makes this dime even more incredible is its tiny, perfect imperfections. These coins were struck with great care, making every detail sharp and refined. Collectors today search not just for any 1894 dime, but one with original luster, minimal wear, and clear definition. If you find one in such condition, it's almost as if you're holding a piece of numismatic royalty. Now, while most of us will never see this coin in person, let alone hold one, it continues to inspire collectors around the world. It's proof that the coin world isn't just about money, it's about stories, mysteries, and the thrill of the hunt. It reminds us that history is all around us, sometimes sitting in a coin jar, resting in an attic box, or hidden away in an old estate sale. So the next time you come across an old dime, no matter how dusty or tarnished, take a closer look. You never know. It might just be the one that rewrites your future. And speaking of rewriting fortunes, a genuine 1894 United States one-dime coin, in the rare case it appears in pristine, collector-grade condition, can be worth up to $199,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single coin, once worth 10 cents, now commands a price tag of nearly $200,000. Incredible, isn't it? Third expensive coin, we're zeroing in on a small but mighty piece of American coinage, the 1977 United States one-dime coin. Now you might be thinking, it's just a dime. But don't be fooled by size or face value. The 1977 dime, in certain cases, is much more than a simple 10-cent piece. It represents a unique intersection of design, era rarity, and the kind of historical quirks that collectors live for. Let's start by going back to 1977. America was in a state of transformation. Technology was evolving, disco was booming, and coin production was chugging along through the U.S. mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The dime, designed by John R. Sinek, had long featured the iconic portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. That design first appeared in 1946, shortly after Roosevelt's death, as a tribute to his leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. By 1977, the Roosevelt dime was a familiar sight in every pocket and purse across the nation. But something curious happened that year. A handful of coins were minted with small, almost invisible differences, errors, anomalies, and features that, decades later, have turned these coins into extremely valuable collector items. What kind of differences, you ask? Well, let's dive deeper. Point one of the most intriguing features that adds to the allure of the 1977 dime is the appearance of minting errors. These are not your everyday scratches or dents. We're talking about misstrikes, off-center prints, missing clad layers, and even double die varieties. Imagine holding a dime that has the design slightly doubled on the surface. This error, known as double die, is a dream find for numismatists. It happens when the die used to stamp the coin strikes twice but slightly off, creating a unique overlapping effect. There are also off-center strikes, where the design is not fully on the coin surface, creating a slanted, almost incomplete appearance. Or you might come across a planchet error, where the coin wasn't fully formed with the right metal layers, leaving it lighter, discolored, or even oddly textured. These are not mistakes to ignore, they're valuable irregularities that collectors pay big money for. Another factor that boosts a coin's value is condition. A 1977 dime that looks like it just left the mint yesterday, with full details, sharp edges, and that original luster, can dramatically increase in worth. Such coins are labeled mint state or MS by grading agencies, and those with grades of MS 67 or higher are especially sought after. The third ingredient that turns an ordinary coin into a gem is rarity. While millions of dimes were produced in 1977, only a tiny fraction survived in flawless condition. And among those, even fewer exhibit any rare mint errors. That combination, pristine condition and a rare mistake, creates the perfect storm for a high-value coin. Now here's something most people don't realize. Many of these valuable coins are not found in fancy collections or auction houses, they're hiding in everyday places. Coin jars, old wallets, inherited boxes of change. You could walk past thousands of dimes in your lifetime and never realize one of them might be worth a small fortune. That's the thrill of it, the hidden treasure factor. It's not just about money, it's about discovery. So, if you happen to have a 1977 Roosevelt dime sitting around, give it a close look. Check for mint marks, search for oddities in the lettering or images, look for wear or signs of a minting error. If you spot something that seems off, don't dismiss it. Get it appraised or graded. It could be one of the rare few. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. What could this tiny 10-cent coin be worth? Well, in the rarest of cases, we're talking near-perfect condition, paired with a rare error. The 1977 United States one-dime coin has been valued as high as $100,000. That's right. A single dime, once casually spent on gum or parking, could today be worth a sum that could buy a car, pay off debt, or fund your next big dream. Pretty incredible for a coin you might not have thought twice about, right? Especially, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1980 Roosevelt dime from the United States, a coin that, under the right circumstances, could turn your 10 cents into something truly life-changing. At first glance, the 1980 dime may not seem extraordinary. It's small, shiny, and features a face most Americans have grown up seeing on pocket change, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But what if I told you that within some of these ordinary-looking coins lies hidden value that collectors are willing to pay thousands for? The truth is, certain dimes from this year and mint location, Denver, represented by the small D mark, have become prized pieces for those in the numismatic world. Let's rewind the clock for a moment to 1980. The United States was coming out of the disco era, heading into a decade of change. Inflation was a concern, the economy was shifting gears, and the U.S. Mint was continuing to mass-produce coins for daily circulation. At the Denver Mint alone, hundreds of millions of dimes were struck that year. So what could make one of those tiny coins so valuable today? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and minting anomalies. factors that make certain coins stand apart from the rest. When you understand how coins are made, it becomes clear how rare it is for a mistake to occur and then survive unnoticed. A mint error might sound like a flaw, but in the eyes of a collector, it can mean jackpot. Among the 1980 Roosevelt dimes, certain varieties have gained attention for their double dies, misaligned strikes, and off-center prints. These errors happen when the coin dies, the hardened steel used to imprint the design, are misaligned or strike the coin multiple times in slightly different positions. The result is a visually fascinating effect. Letters may appear blurred, doubled, or slightly shifted. Even subtle variations can make a huge difference in market value. Another sought-after error is a missing clad layer. Modern dimes are supposed to be composed of a copper core with a nickel outer layer. But sometimes, due to a production mistake, that top layer is never applied. What you're left with is a duller, copper-colored coin that looks nothing like the dimes we're used to seeing. If you find one of these and it's from 1980 with the Denver Mint mark, you might just be holding something very special, and let's not forget the importance of condition. A 1980 dime that has never been in circulation, meaning it was never dropped, never used in a soda machine, never rubbed against other coins in someone's pocket, is incredibly rare. These pristine examples are called mint state coins, and they are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. Anything above MS-65 is considered highly desirable, and coins graded MS-68 or MS-69 are true showstoppers. Collectors love coins in high grades, especially if they also feature a mint error or are part of a low population batch, meaning only a few are known to exist in such condition. That rarity is what fuels bidding wars at auctions and makes some of these coins worth many times their original face value. Now here's a tip for all of you watching: don't assume your everyday change is worthless. Most people spend their dimes without a second thought. But those who take the time to check dates, mint marks, and condition, they're the ones who discover the treasures. So grab a magnifying glass, sit down with your old change, and start searching. You never know what you might find. Before we wrap up, let's talk numbers, the part you've all been waiting for. While most 1980 dimes are only worth their face value, there are a few that stand out, rare examples with high grades, rare mint errors, and immaculate preservation. And when those perfect conditions align, the value skyrockets. One such rare and prized 1980 United States 1 dime coin has been appraised and sold for a staggering total of $70,000. Yes, you heard that right, 10 cents turned into 70,000. It's like winning a tiny lottery hidden in your loose change drawer. So what are you waiting for? Check your piggy bank, your glove box, that old box of coins from your grandparents. Because one small dime from 1980, struck in Denver, could be the key to your next big discovery. Next coin, we're putting the spotlight on a coin that many of us have likely handled dozens of times without ever realizing its potential, the 1991 United States 1 dime. Now, at first glance, this small 10-cent piece may look ordinary. Just a simple Roosevelt dime with the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. But here's where it gets exciting. Beneath that plain surface lies a fascinating world of history, mystery, and in some rare cases, life-changing value. Let's start with a bit of context. The year was 1991. George H.W. Bush was president, grunge music was exploding onto the scene, and the world was shifting rapidly as the Cold War officially came to a close. Amid all these global changes, the United States Mint in Philadelphia, identified by the P mint mark on the coin, was quietly producing millions upon millions of dimes to keep America's commerce flowing. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes in 1991. Yes, billion with a B. That might make you wonder, how could a coin that common be worth anything more than face value? Well, here's where things get interesting. In the world of coin collecting, value doesn't always come from quantity. It comes from quality, rarity, and something collectors crave more than anything: uniqueness. The first thing that can skyrocket the value of any coin is its condition. When a coin is first struck at the mint, it's in pristine, flawless form. But the moment it enters circulation, bouncing between pockets, cash registers, and vending machines, it begins to wear down. A 1991 dime that's still in mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear and is graded MS65 or higher, is already a step above the crowd. But even that isn't the full story. What really draws collector interest are errors and varieties. Believe it or not, mistakes happen, even at the US Mint. A double die error, for example, occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die with a slight misalignment. This results in visible doubling on the coin's text or design elements. Imagine finding a 1991 dime where the word Liberty looks like it has a shadow. That's not your eyes playing tricks on you, that's a minting anomaly that could be worth a small fortune. Other known errors include off-center strikes, where the design is shifted to one side, and clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin's edge is missing due to a mistake in cutting the metal blanks. Then there are coins with missing clad layers, which cause the dime to appear copper-colored instead of the usual silvery shine, a striking difference and an immediate conversation starter for collectors. Another important factor is strike quality. While most 1991 dimes were struck with business circulation in mind, a few coins were minted with exceptionally sharp detail and stronger than usual impressions. These high-quality strikes, when paired with flawless surfaces and perfect luster, stand out under close examination and grading. And let's not forget the appeal of low-population coins, coins that exist in such small quantities with a specific error or in such remarkable condition that there are only a handful like them in the world. When you combine rarity with demand, you get value. Serious collectors will pay big money to complete their Roosevelt dime series or to own that one elusive piece that no one else has done. It's fascinating how something as simple as a 10-cent coin, passed from hand to hand without a second thought, could carry so much hidden significance. It's why numismatics is such a rewarding hobby. Every coin has a story, and every pocket of change is a treasure chest waiting to be explored. Now, let's answer the big question: just how valuable can a 1991 United States 1 dime really be? Well, if you happen to own one in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, or if your coin features one of those rare minting errors we just talked about, it might be worth far more than you ever imagined. In fact, one exceptionally rare 1991 Roosevelt dime, featuring both a striking mint error and flawless mint state preservation, was sold for an astonishing total of $50,000. Yes, that's right. 10 cents turned into 50,000. It's proof that sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't buried in the ground or locked away in a vault, they're hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in your pocket change. So before you toss that next dime into the tip jar, take a second look. That small, shiny coin could be the start of your greatest numismatic discovery yet. Now, we're turning our attention to a coin you've likely seen, held, and even spent without a second thought, the United States 1 dime coin from 1999 with the P mint mark. You might be thinking, come on, it's just a dime. But don't be so quick to judge. Some of the most valuable coins in the world look deceptively ordinary. And this 1999 Roosevelt dime is one of them. What appears to be a simple 10-cent piece could actually be the gateway to a collector's jackpot, if you know what to look for. Let's rewind the clock and set the scene. It's 1999, the final year of the 20th century. The Y2K scare is buzzing, the world is getting ready for a new millennium, and technology is taking off like never before. Amid this global shift, the United States Mint is hard at work, producing coins that will circulate into the pockets and purses of millions. From the Philadelphia Mint, designated by the letter P on the coin, hundreds of millions of dimes are struck. But here's the thing, not all dimes are created equal. While most will fade into everyday transactions, a select few will rise above the rest. What makes the 1999 dime stand out is the possibility of rarity hidden in plain sight. And for collectors, that's where the thrill begins. Point one of the key factors behind a coin's value is condition. Most coins go through the ringer, passed from hand to hand, dropped, scratched, and exposed to the elements. But every now and then, a coin slips through untouched. These uncirculated coins, preserved in mint state, are graded on a 70-point scale. Coins that score MS66, MS67, or even higher can bring significant attention from serious collectors, but it's not just about shine, it's about errors, too. The 1999 P. Roosevelt dime has caught the attention of collectors due to some fascinating and rare minting errors that have surfaced over the years. Some of the most prized examples include off-center strikes, double die obverse, and coins with missing clad layers, which give them a distinct copper look instead of the usual silvery finish. Imagine flipping over a 1999 dime and noticing that Roosevelt's profile looks blurry or duplicated. That could be a double die, an error that occurs when the coin is struck twice, but slightly misaligned. These errors are extremely collectible and, depending on the clarity and severity, can turn a common coin into a rare gem. Then there's the mystery of the broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar. The result is a dime that looks stretched or melted at the edges, a clear sign that something unusual happened at the mint. Coins like this grab attention at auctions and among numismatic circles because they stand out visually and historically, but rarity alone isn't everything. Demand plays a role too. The Roosevelt dime series is one of the most actively collected modern coin sets in the United States. Collectors aim to complete sets with each year and mint mark, and the more pristine or unusual the coin, the higher its demand. So what does all of this mean for you? It means that the next time you reach into your change jar, check your glove compartment, or sort through an old coin collection, you might want to keep your eyes peeled for the 1999 P dime. Especially if it looks crisp, shiny, and shows any sign of error. That little 10-cent piece could be worth far more than its face value, and now for the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 1999 P dimes are worth exactly 10 cents, there are rare exceptions. One particular 1999 P Roosevelt dime, featuring a remarkable mint error and preserved in superb condition, stunned collectors and sold for a jaw-dropping total of $45,000. Yes, you heard that right. A tiny dime that someone once pocketed for a soda is now worth more than a luxury car. So don't underestimate the coins jingling in your pocket or lying forgotten in that kitchen drawer. Your next big discovery could be as small as a dime, but worth more than you ever imagined. Last unique coin, we're talking about the United States $1 coin from the year 2001, minted in Philadelphia. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a coin that's worth 10 cents possibly be worth your time, or your attention? Well, stick around, because by the end of this video, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. The Roosevelt dime has been a part of American currency since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. It features his profile on the front, a tribute to the man who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. On the reverse, we see a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. It's a coin that's been around so long, many of us don't give it a second glance, but here's the thing, 2001 was a unique year for many reasons. The world was on the brink of change. The internet was becoming a household norm, digital communication was exploding, and the United States was about to face one of the most transformative years in modern history. Amid all that, the Philadelphia Mint was producing millions of Roosevelt dimes for everyday use, but not all of them came out as expected. The P mint mark, stamped just above the date on the coin, shows us that it was made in Philadelphia. That mint struck over 1.2 billion dimes in 2001. But as any coin collector will tell you, even when billions are made, only a few truly stand out. And for those few, the value can be absolutely shocking. So, what makes a 2001 P dime valuable? Let's start with condition. Most coins go into circulation and suffer the wear and tear of daily use, scratches, dirt, discoloration, and dullness. But every once in a while, a coin avoids the chaos of everyday life. Maybe it was stashed away in a roll, sealed in a mint set, or forgotten in a drawer. These coins remain in mint state, shiny, clean, and nearly perfect. And collectors love perfection. Graded on a 70-point scale, coins rated MS65 and above begin to fetch attention. But the real excitement begins when we talk about errors, the beautiful mistakes that turn pocket change into collector's gold. In the case of the 2001 P dime, several minting anomalies have been found over the years. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die, where a design element like Roosevelt's I, the lettering, or even the torch on the reverse appears to be stamped twice. This happens when the die strikes the coin more than once, slightly off each time. It's subtle, but once you know what to look for, it's unmistakable. These errors are rare, and rarity in the coin world equals value. There are also coins struck off-center, where part of the design is missing or shifted dramatically to one side. And then we have the truly eye-catching missing clad layer errors. The dime is supposed to have a silvery, nickel-coated surface. But when that top layer is missing, the coin looks coppery, like a penny, and immediately raises eyebrows. Another factor that influences a coin's worth is its demand among collectors. The Roosevelt dime is part of many collections, and there are people out there trying to complete sets with every year, every mint mark, and every known variation. That means that if you're holding one of the few 2001p dimes that features a rare error, and it's in great condition, you may have something incredibly special. But here's what really blows people away. A dime is a coin so small, we barely notice it anymore. It sits at the bottom of purses, rolls under couches, disappears into car seats. But that tiny coin can carry enormous value, if the stars align just right. And now we come to the moment you've been waiting for, the number that turns this humble coin into a showstopper. Are you ready? A rare and perfectly preserved 2001p Roosevelt dime, featuring a remarkable mint error and graded in pristine condition, has been sold to a collector for an astounding $30,000. That's right, from 10 cents to $30,000. A life-changing amount, hidden in plain sight. So before you toss your change into a vending machine or slide it into a tip jar, take a closer look. Your next dime could be the key to unlocking a fortune. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might have a few old coins tucked away. You never know, that little dime you've ignored for years might just be the treasure you've been waiting for. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your pockets heavy, because the next big discovery might be jingling right in your hand.